So this is the Diamond Jubilee Challenge Cup. This is for girls quadruple sculls, junior women on the left-hand side, all the way from the Yarra River in Australia, in Victoria, Mercantile Rowing Club. And perhaps less far, they row on the Thames just by the finish of the boat race where you came in your victorious boat races at Quinton Boat Club, Stan. Kew House School.
That's right, not the most established rowing school, but fantastic to see them have an entry here. And but they've drawn a tough draw here. Mercantile, champions of the schoolgirls' head back home in Australia. One of the selected crews here, so definitely favoured to go quite far through this competition.
Yeah, they are the fastest crew in Victoria. They came 6th in the Nationals this year, which I think were held down on Lake Barrington in Tasmania, but they were the fastest non-composite crew. So all the other crews that headed them were composites and a mixture of different clubs. These 4 women are from Gippsland Grammar School. They're about a couple of hours away from Melbourne, but they're all members of Mercantile, and they are moving on Kew House.
You can see the difference a little bit between Mercantile and Kew here. Mercantile just finishing the stroke off a bit more, getting a bit more out of it at that back end, continuing to propel the boat for just a little longer. Kew maybe just a little bit rushed there. Very easy to do that. I've been guilty of it myself.
Yeah, we can see Lily Canfield. She's only 16 in the bows of that Mercs crew. Great experience for her. And they come that nice press off the finish around the back end. And the boat's moving on sweetly. You've kind of got clear water between them and the Kew House School. And as we get a shot there of Kew House, it's right to say that the Turnham twins, Arva at 3 and Isis at stroke in the Kew House boat, both 18. And of course, Arva Turnham was in the World's 8 that won, Junior World's 8 that won a silver medal for Britain last year. She rowed in the 7th seat. They finished behind the USA, but even so, having an athlete of that quality in the Kew House boat, it doesn't guarantee you an automatic win or a close race on the Henley course. 3:40 to the Fawley mark. You can see the time there.
I suspect Mercantile will be starting just to take the rate down a little bit, mindful of the next few days, but they're still keeping it ticking along there, actually.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely right. When do you take the decision to ease off, Stan, in a race like this?
Well, it's a good question. It's a little bit difficult because you don't want to spend all day planning for when you're going to be lengths up and how you're going to take your foot off the gas because you don't know what's going to happen. But I think it's reasonable when you've got at least a length of clear water to start just taking sensible decisions because it's a long old competition.
So if you're joining us from Australia down in Merck's Boathouse on the Yarra or wherever you're watching this Henley Regatta presentation, you can see Lily Canfield there. She's got the magic foot. She's steering right along the booms. I mean, it's a fantastic course for their first time out on the Henley Regatta track, Stan.
I mean, it can be pretty overwhelming, can't it? It is just unlike anything else. And as you say, Martin, this Mercantile crew, very strong, but no prior Henley experience. So they'll just be soaking this all up. I think in a way, getting this chance to run down the course where they're not pushed right to the line is a very nice preparation for later in the week where that is surely going to happen.
Yeah, you've got the likes of Marlow. We'll see them racing this afternoon, Tideway Scullers. It's such a strong event this year, and this Mercantile crew certainly destined to go deep and rightly selected by the stewards as one of the top crews in the event. So we're going to have a look at the chasing boat shortly from Kew House School. There we are from our drone shot. Isis, Thurnham, and then Arva behind her in the 3 seat. Isis is in the stroke seat, and then at 2, Charlotte Taylor Aubrey, and steering the boat, Lucy Prest in the bows. Both of those women just 17. So let's head up to our leading boat from Mercantile. Love those drone shots.
They're just fantastic, aren't they? It just shows Henley off at its best possible light.
So Mercantile have kept their pace on through. They haven't had to do any lifts. They've kept that in their back pocket. I wonder if it's Lily making the calls. I suspect the 18-year-old Ella Gerrand in the 2 seats, Scarlett Tavisi and April Harrison in the stroke seat. But I suspect it's Ella that's making the calls, and she won't have made too many calls. Maybe the odd technical call. They're using those big sort of comp blades.
Well, they'll be glad for this run down the course. They haven't. This is literally their first run down the course, because as a selected crew, they didn't have to race on the Tuesday, whereas Kew did. They beat Yarm by about 4.5 lengths, so they've already got a race in the legs. But for Mercantile, this is their only run so far.
So Mercantile crossed the line first, and you saw April Harrison's arm go up. Delight at that first race that you heard Stan Loulis talk about. Kew House crossed the line in second. Confirmation that Mercantile Rowing Club of Australia beat Kew House School in the heat of the Diamond Jubilee.